Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships with Captain Keys. Today we are going to be looking at one heck of an exciting replay. This one I managed to pull a win out of my hat here in the Ibuki, the Tier 9 Japanese cruiser. And this replay has it all. If you're used to watching Zhao and Ibuki and Mogami and Miyoko replays where it's just sit in the back and spam HE and get fires and rack up a bunch of damage and all that, well, there is some of that in this replay, but it gets so much more exciting than that. We get some close-range brawls. We take on battleships at point-blank range. This replay has it all. Now, I say that, the second half of this replay has it all. The first 5 to 7 minutes are just really me capping A and getting into position. So if all you came for is the exciting part, and I can't say I blame you, look in the video description and there will be a link to skip you forward to that part. The first bit is just going to be me giving my impressions on the Ibuki. Is anybody left? Okay, good. Well, for the three of you that wanted to stay around and actually look at the stats of the ship rather than skip to the exciting part, the Ibuki, not really regarded as that good of a Japanese cruiser or ship in general. And it's not the Ibuki's fault, really. It's just because she's not much of an improvement over the Mogami at Tier 8. You have 10 203mm guns. The Mogami even gets the option of the 155s, which you can use with IFHE and have a lot of fun. But the Ibuki doesn't get that option. And it's not much different than the Miyoko at Tier 7, which gets 10 203mm guns. So it's not a bad ship, don't get me wrong, but a lot of players are disappointed when they get to a Tier 9 cruiser, which is supposed to be really powerful, and there's just not much to the Ibuki. It's just like every other Japanese cruiser. Like I said, if you've played the Miyoko, you've got a Tier 9 Miyoko. So what does the Ibuki get? Well, when fully upgraded, it gets, in my opinion, the most lethal cruiser torpedoes in the game. These are 10-kilometer torpedoes that travel at 67 knots. And do 21,000 damage when they hit. And the Ibuki can put out 8 per side every 2 minutes. Yeah. If you think that this is going to be yet another game of stay at range and spam HE for the entire game, you are happily mistaken, my friend, because we put these torpedoes to work. So starting off, just a bit of commentary on how the game's going to go. I swing through A and cap it. I tell my team in chat that's what I'm doing. I'm not getting any help. The Friedrich der Grosse in the back was the only battleship really in this area. He spawned in late and immediately turned right. Yeah, so the only thing I'm going to get is a Kutuzov that comes with me, but not until I've already capped A fully. The enemy team is clearly pursuing a heavy sea strategy, and our team kind of blobs up, and our destroyers unfortunately do not take the fight to them, but our Shimakaze does get a very early cap on B, which is most welcome. That really gave us a lot of map awareness because an enemy can't sneak through there without us knowing about it. Waves of enemy torps come in. You see our Minotaur there, takes one on the nose, drops him down to 12,000 hit points, and he is flooding, and he doesn't do anything about it, so I can only assume he blew his damage control too early. And in just a minute or two, you'll see the message in chat as he floods to death. So that's a Tier 10 cruiser we've lost in the opening salvo, pretty much. Not a good start. My plan with the Ibuki, by the way, as I have her configured, I run the range module, so I have 19.1.2 kilometers of effective high explosive or armor-piercing range. Now, really, you can't use the AP at that range. It's just encountered so much wind resistance that the shells just don't have the kinetic energy to punch through really anything. So outside of about 14, maybe 12 kilometers, you have to use the HE. But, you know, it's not a bad thing. With Demolition Expert and the flags, I think the Ibuki can get a 21% fire chance. Very, very respectable. So it's a great fire starter. It's kind of, you know, the IJN lines thing. So I see that there's a Baltimore and some other crap pushing down through C. I'm thinking they might try and sneak through B, so I think about it. I hold. I'm looking around. I'm pressing X frantically on them. It doesn't show in the replay, trying to get the white prediction marker to see who's coming in here. Nobody appears to, so I hold fire on the torpedoes for just the moment. Our other Kutuzov is holding B. There's something in B, so I turn around and fire the torpedoes, hoping that if it rushes him, that I can help out with those torpedoes. It's a Shimakaze. And I ping in on the map, and then I type in chat, danger, torpedoes in the middle. I'm trying to tell the Kutuzov to reverse. Do not move forward because my torpedoes will get you, and I'm trying to help you with that Shimakaze. I'm coming around with the guns loaded, ready to blow this Shimakaze apart, but he disappears into a smoke screen, and he leaves the cap. Or does he? No. It's still being contested. His waves of torps come in on the Kutuzov, and he takes out the Kutuzov. So now we're down 2 cruisers. Nice. And then I open fire for the first time in this game on an enemy Tirpitz, who has run back all by his onesies. He is running the Tarnenstrich camo, so he did the Santa's Christmas Convoys missions, and not that that makes him a great player, but he is someone who has played a lot, at least, so we shouldn't underestimate him. However, if you notice, it's just a flesh wound award going to the Kutuzov. He managed to take down the Shimakaze with torpedoes, so that's very nice. And just look at the alpha damage. That was 6 penetrating hits for nearly 6,000 damage on a battleship. Never mind the fires. So anyways, I continue to wear out this Tirpitz, abusing the terrain mechanics. Our gearing all the way over there in E10 is keeping this guy spotted. And I just want to keep raining fires on him. I want to reduce his combat effectiveness. I want to break his secondaries. I just want to mess this guy's day up. So I fire off again and again, and by this time I have a Kutuzov coming to assist me, which is nice. I don't think the Kutuzov knew exactly how much crap we were about to get in, but I'm glad he came up here with me. So I keep working on the Tirpitz, and again, this is what most people think of when they think the Ibuki. You're sitting at range, you're angled, you spam HE, you adjust your aim, and you burn things. And this is really boring, static, stale gameplay. And by the way, I totally agree with that. I would not post this replay if this is all that it was, because this is not exciting to me. I went up the U.S. cruiser line first. I got all the way to the Des Moines, which I'm still crying. It needs a few more buffs, but that's just a personal opinion. And so I never really played the IJN line until recently, just because of this, because everyone says, well, you stay at range and you spam HE, and that's why I'm not going down the French line, because you stay at range and you spam HE, and that's why I've kind of stalled on the Chapayev and the Russian line, because you stay at range and you spam HE. The only reason I'm continuing on the Japanese line is because you have some interesting toys with these torpedoes, with the great stealth. You can get into flanking and ambush positions. I really like their playstyle. So I'm trying to line up some more torps on the center. I see that North Carolina, and oh, look at the Kutuzov. That has to be a double citadel from the Tirpitz. And here I decide to put the Ibuki to work. The Kutuzov needs someone to spot the Tirpitz. I choose to do that. I know he has 15-inch guns. I know I have very good broadside armor, and that will come in handy later. And this Kutuzov does not have a good health pool. He does not have good armor. And, yeah, or a heal. I have all of those things, so I am willing to angle up and take the hits for my friend here in the Kutuzov. I fire some torps over my shoulder at the Kurfürst, who is in the North Carolina, who are both kind of acting like they want to push in. I don't expect to hit anything, so, you know, I put some more torps out on the Tirpitz earlier to try and just make him maneuver some. Again, I didn't really expect to hit him at that range. I aim for his rear superstructure to get a second fire, but I don't manage to do it. The Kutuzov does too. Look at the Tirpitz front guns. He's aiming at me. He's aiming at me. I'm heavily angled. If you look at, in the bottom left corner of the screen, the ship indicator, I'm heavily angled. I'll bounce his shots if he shoots at my broadside. I get a second fire, and then watch what he does. Watch those front guns. He's looking at me. He's looking at me. And then, I don't know what happened here, but all of a sudden, he swings the front guns hard to his left, targets the Kutuzov, fires. I set a fire and kill him. And yeah, there's a lot that just happened there. Let's wind things back for just a little bit. So, the Tirpitz fired on the Kutuzov and killed him. I hit the Tirpitz too, but the Kutuzov got the kill, but in the meantime, torpedoes went through and sank the Grosser Kurfürst in the middle. So, yeah, that was interesting. I got a kill, but it wasn't from the thing I did damage to. The Kutuzov actually, if you want to call it this, he stole my kill, but anyway, that was just one of many interesting occurrences this match. So I type in chat, hang together, we can still win this, because I can see our team is just melting apart. They're streaming around the side over there at sea, and I just don't want my team to lose hope. And then we lose our Montana, a tier 10 battleship, to the enemy Moskva. Oh, so it's not looking good, and I'm putting the Ibuki speed to work for all that it's worth, trying to get back into the center and see if I can do something. And as I mentioned in my Des Moines commentary, there comes a time when you have to understand that whether or not you're going to live, it's time to spend your ship on something. I am at nearly full health. I've been sitting in the back, spamming HE this whole time. It's time to put my man pants on. It's time to move forward and do some damage. So I load the HE, I start streaming in there, I get my torpedoes, they're all loaded up, and I'm ready. I'm just going to go YOLO this North Carolina. There's also a full health Atago in there, so I know I'm going to have to deal with him too. But I'm confident in the armor on this ship. I'm confident in my ability to maneuver it at close range. And I have a Friedrich der Grosse, friendly German Tier 9 battleship, pushing in with me. So this was not a suicidal YOLO charge. It was calculated, but yeah, it gets pretty exciting pretty quick. The Friedrich der Grosse is coming under concentrated HE spam from the Baltimore, from the Moskva, from the Khabarovsk. I think he's taking some hits in the side from the Iowa. And he's getting whittled down very quickly. Takes a big old hit there from the Iowa down to 6k health, and then he's on fire a lot, and the North Carolina punches his ticket. But that tells me a few pieces of crucial information. 1, the North Carolina's turrets are aimed that way. 2, I'm not spotted. 3, if he was in range of a Friedrich, he probably had to use his damage control on some secondaries fire. So I hit him in the superstructure instead of fire, and he's very low health. And I'm preparing to set up another strike when the Atago, if you look on the left, took a big old hit from, I guess it was the Amagi maybe? I didn't exactly see who did it, but someone dropped him down to like 3,000 health. I fire again at the North Carolina's front superstructure, don't manage to get a fire. I angle, oof. Still take 8,600 damage, but that could have been a lot worse. He shot my side plating. Atago backs out and shows me broadside, so I know he's firing torpedoes. I instead light him up with my guns. He's down to 458 health. He immediately damage controls the 2 fires. I swing hard left to dodge his torpedoes, but not too hard left because I can't get broadside to the North Carolina. I fire at the Atago to take him down. He fires AP, and I just barely split the difference on my angling to not give him broadside and also not give the North Carolina broadside. North Carolina has obviously used damage control, so I swing the guns around. I'm only using my front 3 turrets. Fire at him, get another fire, get 2 defender medals, take another punishing hit on the side, but my angle was enough to deflect some. And then, well, you know it's coming. Here comes the pain. 8 torpedoes per side. I'm trying to gauge up which way he's turning. I fire the torpedoes. All it takes is 1. He goes down. The Iowa's broadside onto me. He's about to take a shot at me. I slam the engines full into gear and try and get behind this island and put out a few shots on him to set him on fire. Woo! Catch your breath for a minute. So I just took on and man-fought an Atago and a North Carolina. Now granted they were both low health, but I saw my opportunity and I took it. And I'm still at about half, so I'm doing alright. But now it's just me and the Shimakaze left. And they have a Moskva, a Fletcher, an Iowa, and a Khabarovsk. We're communicating in chat, and one of the guys, Rain Crusader, says, "I believe in you, Ibuki," which I appreciated that guy. And then he's Congo Pride in the Shimakaze says, "Nice job, Ibuki." And yeah, I'm playing to win. I'm taking no prisoners this game. So I know that they're probably going to come through C because the Moskva used radar and spotted me coming this way. The Shimakaze's over here, and they probably know that. There's the Moskva. And the Iowa there, and I think they're going to come through this slot, but look, my torpedoes are on reload. I still have 37 seconds before they're ready, so I start swinging hard left, I trigger my heel, and I want to angle up in case the Moskva shows up. Shimakaze fires a bunch of torpedoes through that slot, and these may prove to be the game clincher right here. Watch what this guy does with these. That's a stack of 15 torpedoes he's got, and there's the Iowa. And you can probably guess what's about to happen. So the Shimakaze lays a smoke screen here, and I didn't really understand why. I mean, I appreciated it, but I wasn't planning on making my last stand here. The Ibuki is, at the end of the day, a ranged fighter, so I wanted to get back off the range a little bit and burn them from distance. Those torpedoes are looking awfully good, and then boom, he takes down the Iowa with devastating strike and a liquidator award. And I think he gets hits on someone else back there. I couldn't exactly tell. Maybe the Moskva? Anyway, enemy Fletcher shows up in B, and there's the Moskva, and I'm like, no, he's got AP loaded, and he had HE loaded. He hits my broadside armor. I swing hard into the right to try and angle against him. He's angled against me, so I'm using HE. I'm wanting to get some fires on him. Hopefully I can burn him down. He bounces off my broadside again. I fire at his superstructure. I do get my fire, and I could have loaded AP here, but I wanted to stay with the consistent damage. He hits me in my broadside again. Again, I bounce it. Ibuki's good belt armor doing its job. I'm waiting for it, waiting for it. Aim a little low, and that wasn't the right call. The Moskva's turning in to try and angle. I'm angling against him. I bounce it one more time. Wait for his reload. Throw the ship hard to the left because I know what I got to do. Got to fire some torpedoes. And we take down the Moskva. The Khabarovsk comes around the corner. I fire everything at him, and he takes me down. Now, let me just pause the video here for a minute. Do you see that? That's 8 shatters. I fired all 10 guns at the Khabarovsk, at 1.5 kilometers maybe. And I'm even saying in chat, Cab is badly hurt because I didn't notice. The Khabarovsk's belt armor is immune to 203mm high explosive shells. Yeah. I'm calling Russian bias on that. I don't know about you guys, but that's just, ugh. So I'm actually incorrect in assuming that the Khabarovsk is badly hurt. I had 8 shatters on him. I looked at the post-battle results screens. I did a total of 143 damage to that Khabarovsk, which was from 1 secondary shell in his superstructure. And they say that that thing's not overpowered. Well, I beg to differ. So, anyways, now it's just the Shimakaze and the Fletcher and the Khabarovsk. And we have a good points lead, but there's 4 minutes remaining, and they're turning one of our caps back. They're turning C to their side. So Congo Pride and the Shimakaze, who's at full health, thank you so much for keeping your mind, keeping your cool, and not burning your health earlier. He says we got the points to spare. I think he's right, but at this point I Alt-Tab and I furiously start doing math, because the way that it works in a domination match, at least on this map, is you gain 3 points per cap every 5 seconds. That means if you hold all 3 caps, you gain 9 points per 5 seconds, or 1.8 points per second. So I'm looking at the screen, and there's about 180 seconds and 3 minutes, so there's about 200 seconds left in the game. And I'm quickly doing the math, and it works out that even if they had A right now, it would be very close. But they don't. We do. And we're increasing our lead over them. So I tell the Shimakaze to swing to the outside of A and not get near the middle, because if he does, then he'll get spotted, and his stealth is much better than the Khabarovsk. So he'll be able to do some evasion if the Khabarovsk comes charging out here. And so, yeah. We do end up winning this game. I did not snag any post-battle results screens because I'm crap. But, yeah, a nail-biter and a demonstration of what the Ibuki can do if you really let it loose. And why so many people don't like it, I think, is because they do treat it as that long-distance HE spammer. But if you get in there, if you get your hands dirty, if you go have some fun, put the torpedoes to work. Switch ammunition types when you need to, and use that good belt armor when you're well angled against enemies with armor piercing. The Ibuki can be a lot of fun. I've been grinding for the Zao, but I really have not minded the Ibuki grind whatsoever. So yeah, that's that. This has been Captain Keys giving you an exciting replay on the Ibuki, the Tier 9 Japanese heavy cruiser. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and good luck and fair seas.